Continuing our Northeastern road trip, we have now done 3 parks. Today is going to be the 4th park, and I have traveled around this trip all over the Northeast. I have gone over 3,200 miles. I've gone to parks so far like Cedar Point, Knoebels, and last week I went to Hershey Park, Pennsylvania. So let's get this show back on the road. Join me on today's adventure.
Now get ready, here we go.
Today this is going to be a really short one because it's simply just Dorney Park, and we only have about 2 hours there. So we're just going to stop in, hit a couple rides, and then we're off.
Before we left Hershey, Pennsylvania, we really took the opportunity to see one more site. We went across the way to the Hershey Gardens over there, and we took in some nice sights around there. You could see a really good view of the park, and the gardens are just really nice. If you're staying at the other Hershey hotel, the bigger hotel, the gardens are right at the base of it, but basically this was a little further out for us. There's some really nice view. They really loved flowers, the roses around that area. So there's lots of roses in the garden, and it's just a very nice place to go and relax. The weather again was really hot, so it was pretty warm, but we went early in the morning to where it wasn't too bad. So let's start our trip out to Dorney. We're going to start off in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and then we're going to head just slightly northeast to Dorney Park.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Feels like I sang that every single time. Does anybody else do this? They film where they parked when they get out of their car. That way at the end of the night they can remember where they parked their car in the parking lot.
Okay, a couple hours drive, we made it to Dorney Park, and we only have a couple of hours here, so this will be good. But honestly, we're not here to ride the big rides, so it's going to be a pretty relaxed little couple hours. Now, we're not here for it, but I wonder if we can get on Possessed. I wonder if the back brake is working on that thing.
So we were just here actually to ride the Demon Drop. That was it. That was all I wanted to come to this park for, just the Demon Drop, and then we're out. But since the lines weren't that long, we got on a few things around the park.
Well, look at what we have here. It's an Intamin T438 suspended impulse coaster. U-shape, of course. Let's ride this.
Okay, so the first ride of the day was actually
Possessed, yeah.
So that was actually the first ride of the day. So I've been on a handful of these T438 U-shaped impulse coasters, and they all feel pretty much the same. So I was curious if Possessed was the same way, how it was doing. So I got on the ride, and interestingly enough, the first cycle, pretty much it was a walk-on ride. There's nobody at this park. The first cycle, it launched, it got all the pressure, pushed you back in your seat, it launched, and then right after that, it went down to like 30% power and was just kind of meandering along the track. Like, it wasn't doing anything. And then it only made its way up only about 3/4 of the train got out of, maybe the full train, got out of the drives in the front. And then when it rolled backwards, it started accelerating just like normal and finished its cycle just like normal. That was perhaps one of the weirdest things I've ever been on, because as soon as it gets the initial burst of energy and then slowed back down, I was for sure like, oh, it's got a net sensor fault. And pretty much once we get out just a little bit further, I was expecting to be stuck on the ride for like 10-15 minutes, because that typically generates a fault that shuts the ride down. And it didn't. It just kept going. And I was just like, whoa, truly got off that ride going, that was so weird. Like, that was crazy.
Iron Menace, yeah. Get some.
Anyways, there was also no line for that. There was like no lines this morning. It was great. The park was already hot, and you could tell the park did not plan for a lot of people being there because nothing was open. A lot of the flat rides were closed. Granted, it was first thing right after they opened, but like hardly anything was open around the park. So a lot of the majors were coming up, but most of the flat rides were closed. A lot of the concession stands were all closed. The games were closed. It was kind of odd being there, but you could tell the park just did not staff for a lot of people to be there at all. So walk on ride, great for us. We went right up to the top of the Iron Menace. We got on front row. I was very curious for this one because we had ridden on Valraven, the other dive coaster over at Cedar Point, and I wanted to compare the two. It's like, okay, with Valraven under my belt now, what does Iron Menace feel like? Well, Iron Menace felt exactly the same as Valraven did. And I was just like, oh, that kind of cemented the deal for me. And I really feel like dive coasters are just like a one-trick pony for people that are scared to death of the hold and the drop up there at the top. It's an absolutely petrifying roller coaster for people, but the rest of the coaster just wasn't. I'd prefer to go on an invert or a floorless coaster or something else. Just the dive coasters don't do anything for me. Sorry, I don't care for dive coasters at all. It took me a couple coasters to figure that out. I just don't care for them. Okay, well, on to the next.
Here we go. Road rally time. Let's hit these speedway cars. Luckily, I used to be a race car driver, so I could probably handle this.
That raw horsepower. My number used to be 4, so this is half the speed, it seems.
Okay, this is actually the reason I came to the park. Demon drop. Looks like they just opened the gate, so 12 o'clock. Let's get our drop on.
Didn't do it right. You're supposed to go.
Demon drop. Yeah, get some.
Yep, I came all the way across the country to ride this one ride. Yep, once I was in the area, I was like, oh, I've got to take Son on one of the original Intamin freefall rides. I mean, you can't pass that up. After I did my video on how these work, there's a dwindling number of these things working in the world, so I feel it's a service I should get on as soon as I can. Love the sound of those things running. So Mrs. the Ride Mechanic is recording. We did 2 shots back to back, which was pretty cool. This is me and Son on here. And what I love about this video is this is one of the few times you won't hear me cussing on a drop tower. I actually enjoy this, and you can actually hear it on the ride. You can hear me yelling on this and having fun, which is unusual for me on drop towers. But if you listen carefully, you can hear me. Listen to this. Here it comes. That's me having fun on that ride. It's a great ride. Which mechanical contraption, I absolutely love the thing. I would have stuck around all day just recording this thing working, but we had other things to get onto. I definitely enjoyed it. It was so great. I love it. Okay, don't follow the camera still. All right, we got 2 laps in on the freefall, on the original Intamin freefall demon drop. First, it's been, I don't know, 30 years since I've ridden the thing last. It's his son's first time, so what do you think, son?
I think it was great. They should make more, but they shouldn't make it as complicated as that.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I've always had the idea in my head, I wonder if we could remake this thing with the same iconic style with the 90-degree turnout at the bottom, but use LSMs and magnets and stuff to simplify and lessen the design to where it's more manageable. Because I think everyone who loves these rides all loves ending up on your back at the bottom. It's a fun thing. So I'm so glad I got to come here and ride it, and I'm glad Son got to ride it for his first time.
Yep.
When's the last time you rode the freefall?
Probably maybe 30, 35 years ago at Magic Mountain.
Back when you were working for Magic?
No, it was probably junior high.
Junior high, not even working for Magic.
Yeah, no, probably junior high.
Junior high.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of memories did that bring back for you?
One of my neighbors would be going on that ride.
Your neighbor and you, so
Yeah.
many old memories.
Yeah. It was at the back of the park. My sister texted her. She loved it. It was one of her favorites too. She was so excited we went on it.
There you go. All right. Couldn't come here and not ride Hydra. Well, I could. If it was jam-packed busy today, honestly, I wouldn't, but don't often get the chance to go on a B&M with a corkscrew right out of the station like that. That's pretty cool. 20th anniversary. Man, I'm old. All right, that was a fun ride. I enjoyed that one. The corkscrew out of the station there, that's pretty cool. I enjoyed that. The rest of it had its little this and that. Unfortunately, there's really nobody here today, which is great for us. But that means the trains run light, which means they don't have a lot of speed. So I didn't get any of the airtime moments or anything like that out of the ride. But it's okay. All right, we're going to head on to the invert next. See what this is going to be. We've actually gotten really lucky on these past couple parks because it's been so hot. I don't think anybody's been coming to the park because it's been blistering hot.
Yep.
But it's made
Been
walk
high
on
90s every day.
Yeah, high 90s every day. And humid, of course. But it's made for some walk-on rides. We're going to go get on
Talon, grip of fear, you'll hook your pass. Talon, you'll be stuck in the brakes out there for a little bit. Talon, we haven't dispatched the train in 3 minutes. So much fun, bring your grandma. Talon, we have breadsticks on the stairs. And our brakes work.
Yeah, you heard me right. There was a breadstick on the stairs coming up, and we just couldn't get over that. There's breadsticks sitting there. We really enjoyed this ride. This was a good one. I'll talk more about it in a little bit, but get you some running footage of this ride. I love to set off some inverts and watch. This is Mrs. the Ride Mechanic actually filming. Son and I are where? Of course, the back row. That's right. We're on the back row of this train, enjoying ourselves out and about there. Here's another shot. There we are, back row. Gotta love the back row. That's where we'll be.
Okay, Silver Bullet's still my number one. I'm gonna say Talon's actually number two. That's above
Batman.
I would say like a Batman clone is underneath that, Raptor's underneath that. Sorry, Cedar Point. This one had a lot of good ground elements that I really like. I like ground elements when you get really close to stuff. And there was one element which was cool. I've never seen it used on a roller coaster before. There's a garlic fried food element where it smelled like garlic fried food. That was amazing.
That was.
As a hungry person, I highly recommend that element to any park.
Yep.
So we ended up leaving the park after just a little under 2 hours, getting a whole bunch of roller coasters in, which was awesome for us. Now we start the drive, turning north and heading up into New York. That's right, here we come. So what do we do when we go to New York? Well, get pizza. We stopped at this pizza place, authentic place, Palantino's Pizza. Was really good pizza. Oh my gosh, it was so much good pizza. Now, of course, heading to Canada. All right, so we drove over 7 hours to get to the hotel here in Canada now, and we crossed over first time. All of us are first time from the U.S. to Canada, so that was interesting. We had to give our little stories and say what we were there for, and came over here. I had to change the units in the car from, the imperial measurements basically to metric measurements like the rest of the world. Anyways, but that way I could drive, like 120 kilometers an hour. So, can't wait for the next park. That's going to be Canada's Wonderland. That's going to be a fun one. I did find it funny that we've gone this entire trip just sweating our butt off everywhere we've gone, like just drenched in sweat, in a heat wave, like humidity, everything else. And then we get to Canada and it's 20 degrees Celsius here, which is cold. Bring a jacket. I just think it's
It's funny, went from sweating our butts off to needing a jacket now. So that was funny. You know, people know how to park when they back in. It's the best way to park, in case you don't know.
When in Canada, try on Canadian Goose stuff, or Canada Goose stuff. That's what we were doing here. Mrs. the Ride Mechanic shopping for a new jacket.
So what do we do when we're visiting Canada? We go to the real Canadian Superstore. Some people still call it COVID. I call it Rona. So the reason we actually came in here is because we just saw it off the highway and we're like, I wonder what this is all about. So we just came in here just to see what it actually is all about. We're getting ourselves some water. Kind of had a little bit of everything, so I'm still looking for the sex toy aisle. So we'll find that later. And of course we had to stop in at the syrup aisle because when in Canada, I'm gonna find some original syrup. Maybe not. Maybe I'll look for something else.
Here.
Oh, it's over here. Oh, this is the maple syrup stuff, huh? Maple syrup made in Vermont.
No, these are made in Canada. Some of them are.
It'd be more fun if it was made in Vermont. Come on, play along with me. Whoa, check that out. There's like, can that thing get on the highway?
One thing we learned while we were here in Canada is that there are no gallons of milk in this area, and it's not just the difference between gallons and liters, it's the actual hard container of a gallon of milk. They don't have it anywhere. It's only bags of milk in 1 gallon. So we stopped at that store because we were on our way to Niagara Falls for the day. We were spending a day doing some touristy stuff, so we went to Niagara Falls, and we basically found out just outside of Niagara Falls, the actual area where to go see the falls, is essentially like a little strip. It's pretty cool over there.
So we stopped at Niagara Falls in Canada, and when in Canada, obviously, we're gonna eat at the Rainforest Cafe. There it is, Niagara Falls.
So this is a nice little side of the mountain tramway to go up and down to the bottom. Always take a chance to record some stuff. This is kind of like ride stuff here. You got trains, tracks, you got cable pulleys, you got balanced loads. The two, one's going up, all the other ones coming back down. They meet in the middle. That's why the tracks switch out like that. And here's a little scenic view of Marineland over there. You can see the tower shot from this side. Zoom in on it. It's the only thing you can see from Niagara Falls. Kind of interesting. Let's turn around and look and see what's happening on the back side of the tram lift. Yep, you can see all those idler pulleys. One set of cables is letting the cab come down. The other set of cables is pulling the other cab up. I always find stuff like this interesting just because I don't see it that often. So lots of little things I like to look at. We've officially made it on the boat tour down there, and we are starting to make our way towards the falls. Everyone's got their complimentary ponchos on, ready for water. Nice. Niagara Falls, there you go. Free ponchos, probably sponsored by Trojan. Not sure. It's kind of like human condoms. I don't know if I could do this anymore. I've used up so many "that's what she said" jokes already. I don't know if I have any more left in me.
That's what she said.
You know, it's so funny that everyone goes back when it gets really wet out there and everyone's hiding towards the center of the boat. And I'm just like, you know what? I came all this way. I'm going to stand here. But look at Son over there. He's not even wearing a poncho. I'm at least wearing a poncho, trying to stay quasi-dry. Me and Mrs. the Ride Mechanic, me and Son. Now let's go out to that little strip area and check out what's going on there. It looks pretty cool. Alright, it's a really interesting touristy area, of course. They've got a couple of carnival rides and a nice Ferris wheel up there. There's a bowling alley there. There's everything tourist trap you could think of in this area. There's actually also a haunted house down there. Actually, we passed by 4 different haunted houses in the area. And then across the way over here, there's bumper cars, a dragon-based miniature golf place, and off in the background there, way at the far back, there is a go-kart track, elevated go-kart track, so that was cool.
Back, there you go, right there. The roller coaster on top of the Burger King.
He wants to go on it.
Oh, okay.
Please believe it or not. Oh, those were always fun to go to. It's a nice little touristy area here in front of Niagara Falls. Literally, the falls are just down the street that way.
Frankenstein is actually a haunted house, but if you want to ride the roller coaster on top, that's actually part of the haunted house. You could do it separately, but you gotta go partially through the Frankenstein haunted house to get to the Franken Coaster up on top, which is really cool.
Okay, so I wasn't planning on riding a roller coaster today, but here we are, up above.
Niagara Falls is over there.
We're above the street here in Niagara Falls, and we're gonna go ride a roller coaster. This is the Franken Coaster. Here's some bonus content I was not planning on at all. Look at these coaches.
Okay, so when we started off, we had no clue that this was here. Sun actually spotted it right when we parked the car. I didn't even see it. Sun saw it moving out of the corner of his eye down there and pointed it out. Check this out. Oh, man. Talk about the second chain dog catching. Anyways, this was a fun little roller coaster to go on. Kind of rickety up on top of the building. Not gonna lie, it's not that high up, but I honestly was questioning if it was gonna hold together or not. Very violent on the turns and stuff. I don't know who made it, where it was made, any of that other stuff, but man, it bangs you around inside that coach really bad. So it's like one of those things. It's like, boy, you better have some padding or something else. You'll see when I come to a stop on this one, I am using the classic X brace to keep myself upright. See, both hands crossed over. Use the X brace to hold myself upright, because man, that was a rough ride. Way rougher than it looked. The Burger King, it just happened to be on top of a Burger King. Again, this is part of the Frankenstein haunted house stuff. This is the Franken Coaster. Got to go part of the way through, and then you come up on top and you come out, and then you go ride this. We were quite lucky. There was, again, nobody there. The guy said normally there's a pretty good size 15, 20, sometimes 30-minute long line up on top of that thing to go ride this roller coaster. So again, we were pretty lucky here. No idea it was here, but I'm so glad that we got a chance to get on it, because wow, what a coaster.
Of course I had to film the roller coaster. This is like the best thing. You had to go part way through a haunted house to get to the roller coaster. I mean, come on. That's pretty awesome.
And of course, to exit the Franken Coaster, you also have to go partially back through a haunted house. And at the very end, there's a bit of a jump scare there, which I actually didn't get on video. Mainly doing this video for the light, because coming in from outside to this pitch black staircase almost, I could not see where I was going.
Haunted house and roller coaster. Very cool.
Very cool.
Yep, saw the old let's go to Marineland. Pretty cool. Alright, next thing we did, we went to the power plant tour, and we went down the tunnel at the bottom. Highly recommend this. It's almost a half-mile walk. This was the old water ejection route.
Did the power station tour. How to generate power out here in Niagara Falls. In the tunnel now.
Comes out right at the base of the falls, not quite next to it, but I mean, you're down there. This is where the water used to eject out. It was very scenic, very beautiful. There is, again, free human condoms down there for all that want to put them on, so they can be around where all the water splashes. All in all, I'd highly recommend the power plant tour. Go down to the tunnel. It's a long walk, but it really pays off. You get this beautiful view of the falls down there. It's awesome. We enjoyed our time here in Canada. We enjoyed our time in Dorney. It was great. It's a tourist trap area. It was the most money we spent on this trip so far, for sure. But we enjoyed it, and I'd highly recommend it if you're ever in the New York, Canada area, to go see this area. And if you can go to Canada, go get that credit for that Franken Coaster. And yes, here is the map for all those of you taking note. Basically, all we found new up there was Vermont and New Hampshire. That was pretty much it. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. I do appreciate it. I've only got a couple parks left to go on this tour, and then that's going to call it. And then I'll be back to my normal how rides work type videos. So if you got any comments or you want to see how a ride works, you can always email me at ryantheridermechanic@yahoo.com or message me down below. I try to get back to people when I can. And as always, stay off the air gates. Bye.